So like I said, we want to leave everything in groups so that way it's a little bit easier to color. But again, we'll definitely go over like which ones we should separate and things like that. So I do want to say we are not going to be getting into texturing. The only thing that I'm going to be doing is just color. If you want to learn how to do your own textures, I definitely recommend looking at a different tutorial for that, because doing textures means that you have to do UV mapping. And unfortunately, with this horrible topology, it's going to be damn near impossible to do proper UV mapping in order to get a texture to show up properly. In the future, I do plan on doing a retopology and texturing video, but for the time being, just for this quick start guide, just to get you started and, with animation and stuff like that, we're just going to add some color to him, and that's it. That's all we're going to do. So we want to give him some color. We want to give Stormer some color, and now that we've got our mesh and everything sorted out, and we have to do that by going through a couple of steps. So the first thing that you should know is that all of these meshes do already have a color assigned to them. And you can see that by going up here to this viewport shading thing up here and click on your materials shading. And as you can see, he is starch white, and this is the same color that we had in Studio. We definitely don't want this data on there because we're going to create our own materials. So this is another kind of a tedious thing that you have to do. And it's just, and keep in mind, there probably are faster ways to do this, but I do it this way because I like being thorough, and make sure that there is no color data on any of these pieces. So what I typically do is I go down the list here. So I select a piece on the list, and then we go down here to the materials tab. So it's kind of like it's in the same place where your modifiers are, but it's a little bit lower, and it's this little red thing right there. That's your materials tab. And as you can see, this item does have a material assigned to it, but we don't want it to be assigned to this part. So we're just going to make sure this material is selected, and then we're just going to hit the minus button. So now he has no material assigned to that piece. You're not going to notice that change because Blender has its own like default viewport material assigned to it. So don't be afraid if it doesn't look like anything is happening. Trust me, it is happening, because there, as you can see here with this part selected, there is no material assigned to this part. So now we're just going to go down the list, and we're going to get rid of these materials one by one. So now that we've gone through the list, none of these parts should have any material assigned to them. So now pretty much all of that data is orphan data. And so it's kind of just taking up space in our Blender file. So we're actually going to go up here to this little button right there, and we're going to go down to Blender file and materials. And we're going to select all of these, and we're just going to hit delete. Well, actually, yeah, for whatever reason in here, the delete button doesn't work, but we're just going to hit delete. And we're going to delete those materials because we don't need them. They're taking up space. So if we select a piece, we shouldn't see any materials in there anymore. That is what should be happening, is that there should not be any materials in there because we're going to make our own materials. All right, well, he's looking great so far. So now we're going to go ahead and make our own materials. So we're going to do that by selecting a piece. It could be any piece, it doesn't matter. And with that piece selected, we're going to go back down to our materials tab, and we're going to click new. That's going to create a new material. We're going to name this material. Now, in the original model for Stormer, this torso piece is silver. So I'm going to call this silver. But we need to change the color so that it's actually, silver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this base color thing here by clicking on it. And I'm going to adjust. So I'm actually going to leave this right at the center. I'm actually going to switch this over to RGB. But I'm going to leave this little thing right here in the center because it's white. And I'm just going to darken it a little bit, so that it's gray. We want it to be a nice gray color. So I'm actually going to use Lego's official color codes, RGB color codes for these parts. And so Lego actually has this torso piece listed as flat silver. So I'm actually going to rename this to flat silver, and I'm going to use the official RGB code by opening this back up, making sure it's in RGB, and pasting that code into my RGB there. So now that is a technically Lego color accurate part. So if you ever want, accurate Lego colors, I definitely recommend just looking up the Lego color codes for all of their colors and that they have, for other Lego pieces. But as you can see, it looks a little flat, and we don't want that. We don't want it to look flat. So we're going to boost our metallic value here. And look at that. It's starting to look a little bit less flat. I'm actually going to make that even higher. I'm actually going to max it out. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's a nice metallic look. And usually Lego pieces aren't that rough, so I'm actually going to take the roughness and I'm going to turn it down a little bit to give it that nice metallic sheen. How about that? So that's pretty much how you create metallic looking colors. I will say it won't look 100% right, in Blender. It'll look a little bit better once we actually start getting into the rendered view. But as of the moment, I mean, this looks pretty good. And again, yeah, you're going to see a little bit of some topology issues, and this is honestly why I typically don't apply these modifiers. Is that usually when I get into the texturing phase, I can see some of like where there's some issues with it and it just looks funny and I have to go back and fix it. So now his torso is where it should be. I'm actually going to lower the metallic just a little bit. There we go. That actually looks a lot closer to the actual piece. So back to my reference image. He also has a silver one of these as well. And again, I know that this piece is printed. The official piece is printed, but again, I am not getting into UV unwrapping today. But I will eventually get into it at some point. But as of right now, we're just coloring. So this piece is actually still linked to all these other pieces. So because I just want this one to be silver, I'm going to go ahead and unlink it with the other ones. So I'm going to go over here, go to relations, and I'm going to make single user, object and data. And now I'm going to click on this piece. I'm going to go back over to my materials tab. And as you can see, it has no materials. But instead of clicking new, we're going to actually click this little icon right there. And as you can see, oh, our material that we made is in here. So I'm going to select that and boom, there we go. Now we have a silver upper arm piece, upper arm armor. Yeah. And I'm going to do the same thing here because on the official set, he actually doesn't have any of these. But on my version, he has a silver arm pretty much. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. But we're actually going to go over here, relations, make single user, object and data. So now this one's all by itself. I'm going to go back over to materials, go over here, and flat silver. Perfect. And oh, he's got one more silver piece on him, and that is his little head thing, his visor, his helmet, part of his helmet. Yeah. Same deal. We're going to go over here, flat silver. Perfect. And there's no other copy of that, so we don't have to worry about that copying over to anything. So we're getting there pretty good. Let's see. We're going to create a new material for his chest piece here because he's mostly going to be white. He's going to have a lot of white armor. I've pulled the color code for Lego's white color, and honestly, it really is that simple. It's literally just white. But I am going to create a new material, And I'm just going to name this one white. And I'm going to go down here to base color. I'm going to go over to my RGB and type in the color code. And oh, interesting. It's actually a brighter white. That's kind of weird. Okay. Well, I guess that's pretty cool. And pretty much, I mean, on the official set, this is definitely not a metallic piece, but I am going to turn down the roughness just a little bit on this to kind of give it that Lego sheen, like a brand new Lego sheen to it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go ahead, since I've created this white color, I'm actually going to go ahead and assign that to all of the pieces that are supposed to be white. So that's going to be his helmet, which is white. That's going to be his arm over here, his armor, and his armor. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to make this one white too, because this is cool. You can actually switch the colors here. So if I didn't want this piece to be white, I could just come over here and select this and just change it to white. It's really that simple. It's so simple. So I think that one's also white. This one down here is white. Yep. So actually, as you notice, because we changed this one to white, all of these also changed as well. And lastly, we want his feet to be white too. And again, that's going to change on both feet. So now that we've got the white done, now we can move on to the black. And so now I have a decision to make. Do I want to make his head, the top of these hands white? Even though these pieces here actually don't exist in any other color other than black, because this is Blender, we can make them whatever color we want. We're not limited by anything. Really, it's kind of cool. So maybe I'll make these white and see what happens. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll play with it. Oh, right, and then we have this piece back here that also needs to be white. Whoops, my bad. Didn't mean to do that. Oopsies. Well, now we have this weird material, but again, we can ignore it for right now. We'll go back and delete it eventually. So if you accidentally make a new material, that's okay. All right, so it looks like we've got all of the pieces that are supposed to be white on there. So now we can do black. And weirdly enough, Lego black isn't just straight black. It is like an inky blue color. And I didn't realize that until after I was working on a project of a character that was using black. And when I turned up the metallic, it turned blue, and it was very interesting. But anyway, so we're gonna select this piece here. Actually, we'll select the torso, and we're gonna go. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have to create a new material, and we're just gonna go black. And I've already got the color code copied, so I'm actually going to paste that into here, into my RGB. And look, you can actually see it's like this, it's not quite black. It's this weird, like inky blue color. It's really cool. And if I turn up the metallic and turn down the roughness, you'll be able to see that, like, that kind of inky color to it. It's really neat. I thought that was a really cool thing, but I'm actually going to turn the metallic down on that because it needs to look a little bit more plasticky. And turn up the roughness a little bit, and I think that's good right there. That looks like a CCBS part, doesn't it? A little bit. So now that we've created our black color, now we can actually go ahead and assign that color to all of our bone pieces. So that includes all these pieces here. Wow, he's already starting to look so much better than he was before. He looks real, isn't that awesome? And the other thing is that if you do decide to go from Studio to Blender, you actually have so much more availability of creativity when making these models because of the fact that you are not limited by anything. So pretty much, I mean, you can make all of these whatever color you want, but I'm kind of just following a guide right now. And I think, you know what, I'll go ahead and do the hands black too. Go ahead and make those black as well. And this will be really simple. Yeah, ooh, I don't know if I like that. Because, like, in the show, his hands are kind of silver, so maybe. I don't know. Technically, on the official set, his hands are white, so let's try it out. So this is the magic of doing this stuff in Blender, is because you can do whatever you want. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that. Yeah, because even in the show, his hands are white, but I have a way, because it looks kind of funky with like this thing here being white. It just doesn't look right. So I'm going to show you a really cool trick. It's a little difficult. Sometimes I get it wrong, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go select this item, and I'm going to hit Tab to enter edit mode, and we're going to go over to face. And I'm going to select this X-ray thing up here because I want to be able to see all of my faces. So I'm going to select all of these faces to about here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And this is where it gets a little funky, because we're going to assign a different material to this mesh. So I'm trying to remember of how to do this, because I don't do this very often. Yeah, because it's not what we wanted. So, no, it's not what we wanted. Why did you do that? Honestly, I kind of like that too, but I don't know. It's not the point. It's not the point of what I'm trying to do. So, let's go back up here to our face mode and assign that. And I think once that is assigned, oh, right. That's right. So you actually have to hit this and then hit the black, and then you go back up here, and this one's actually supposed to be white. Oh no. Black assigned. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. So what you have to do is you have to set the object to whatever material you want, and then whenever you select it, you hit the plus sign here to add a material out of your list of materials, and whatever you have selected, and then whatever material you have selected, you just hit assign, and it'll assign that material to those selected faces. So we're going to get out of tab. Go back into tab. Go back into tab. Thank you. And then get out of tab. And that actually looks a lot better. Like, it looks a little bit more cohesive. And again, it mirrors it to the other side too. So again, you can do anything that is possible, because it doesn't have to be something that happens in real life. Now everything has a texture. Everything is colored. And he looks great. He looks just like the one that I have. Minus the hands. I didn't add the Zyantro hands to mine, but for the purposes of rigging, I added the Zyantro hands because I think it's important to be able to learn how to rig fingers. So, yeah. So pretty much, I think he's ready. I think we are finally ready to move on to rigging. But that's going to be the end of this video. And in the next video, we're going to go ahead and start up with rigging.